Namaskar and welcome to this exciting episode of Sattology, Debunking Mythology. Sattology means science or study of truth. Opposite of that is mythology, which means science or study of fake, lie, or imagination. When the Western scholars call something as mythology, we all know that they're referring to as something ancient without a proof. But very striking, when the Europeans invaded or looted the South Americans, they took away 60 to 80,000 tons of gold and also destroyed buildings which were far more advanced which Europe had ever seen, and they all claimed it as mythology. So it is very clear by the history that the Indian temples, native Indian means India, East India, Indian temples, Hindu temples, Native American temples, Native Mexican Incas, Aztecs, Mayans, their temples were far more advanced than anything Europe had ever built in their entire history. The Europeans also destroyed the church, actually, destroyed their own native civilizations also in Europe. And they have the audacity to lecture the whole world on human rights and other issues. Africans, they looted Africans. In fact, the whole country, one of the countries is in my book, Gold, Glory, and God, was sold for 7 slaves, just 7 slaves. And they have the audacity to lecture the whole world about the morality, about human rights, when they are the biggest perpetrators of that. I have a very, very special guest. He's a vice chancellor of Atal Bihari Bajpai University and from Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh. So without delay, let us welcome Professor A.D.N. Bajpai.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Adit.
After a long time, you have come, and he is a professor of economics. And my first question to you will be that I've just give you a brief synopsis of what they have done, what has happened. And
Yeah.
still we hear regularly the Western standards and how we have to follow the Western standards. So if you actually follow the Western standards, the East must invade the West. That is a Western standard because they believe in whosoever is strong should be the occupier. They justify the occupiers. So don't you think that this feeling should come in that, okay, if we actually copy you, then we should invade the West? What do you have to say on the moral lecturing that we get regularly from the Western universities to other universities all over the world?
Actually, Aditya, uh, who loots whom? Who invades whom? Only the weaker go to, you see, invade the stronger. The poorer loot the richer. So if European have invaded, you see, India or many, you see, countries in the East as such, the East must be rich. That's why that East attracted the Europeans, the Westerners to come over. So it's a simple logic, simple common sense. India was a rich country. India was one of the richest countries of the world. The modern historians, like say Madison Harrison, he has written one book, History of Modern India, Modern World, and they have specifically mentioned that India, including China, that is Bangladesh and Pakistan, controlled a major part of global richness. More than 30 to 35% of the world's richness was within this state, and that attracted the Western countries, including Europe, and they wanted to loot it away, and that's why they invaded. So, for the weakness or underdevelopment of economies of these developing countries, it is not their own demerits and deficiencies. This is the siphoning of three major resources. And this is not me. There was very, very great input output specialist of Gokhale Institute of Pune. It was a P.N. Mathur. He worked on the basis of statistics. The three main reasons are responsible for the backwardness of developing nations, including India. There are three types of outflows he's talking about. One, the financial resources. Money is being siphoned off from developing nations towards developed nations. Then the good human resource, the best of human resource, is also being taken away by these developed nations in the name of fellowships or see in name of superiority like that. And third one, siphoning off of mineral resources. So three types of resources. If you just take the statistics of the international trade, a lot of the raw material, the mineral resources are being traded out from India and many developing countries, and finished products are being imported. So the three major resources, and world has been attracting, world has been invading, looting. Now, in the name of international trade or globalization, this rate of exploitation has increased at a very fast speed. So, my specific question that India and East was certainly rich and richer. Now it's poor and poorer in comparison to this Europe, for which Europe is basically responsible, not the India, not the Eastern countries. And I just quote in one of the interview, the Shashi Tharoor also defended this particular hypothesis that India is weak, India is poor because London has looted India in specific words. Okay, Adit.
Throughout the world, we see the generally the most of the institutions of repute, international reputes institutions, are still connected or dominated by the West. And these are the West is the same colonial countries which were responsible for colonization and looting of the whole world. And even till date, they've retained their control over the institutions like finance and United Nations and other bodies where they are in the majority control. And they regularly detest that Russia and China are the permanent members, and India, they will never make a permanent member because India is an independent country. They need allies. They don't need enemies. So, so now this is the Western position. Now coming to the Western academics. Western academics, they they have commented on Mahabharata and Ramayana to teach their version of Ramayana Mahabharata, the doubtful version. See, one of the things in the what I'm learned in the academic circle is never give a straight answer. Always move around the things and confuse others. And in the if you look at the American universities, maybe like this, maybe like this, maybe like this. But if you look at the Indian traditional education system, like a Gurukul, there the answers are straight. Like this is Vyasdev has said it, so this must be like this. This is the way paramparas go. So why should India learn their confusion about their own culture, our culture?
No, actually, it is just offshoot of colonization. Because India was a colony for about 300 years. And before that also, Indian knowledge generators, knowledge distributors, knowledge disseminators were suppressed, deeply suppressed by Mughals also. So their moral is very weak. But after obtaining independence, India should have thought of positioning its knowledge on the basis of a straightforward pursuit of indigenous knowledge systems. India has the Vedas, India has Puranas, India has Mahabharata, Ramayana, Upanishads, and a series of granthas. We are also working on those granthas. And Upanishadiya Parampara is just based upon question and answers. There is a plain question and there are plain convincing answers to all the questions. And the most quotable quote is from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. That is, Arjuna asks questions, very simple question, and detailed answers with all examples. See, Krishna gives satisfactory answers to Arjuna. There is no confusion at all. And until confusion is there, there cannot be discourse in Indian system like that. But what has happened that Westerners always been afraid of superiority and the piousness knowledge systems of India. You see, it is not that they did not know. You say Max Muller. Max Muller was deputed by London scholars institution. He was paid heavily just to read Indian Sanskrit literature and also do manipulations in accordance suiting to their own knowledge systems because Sanskrit was disconnected by deliberately by the Britishers so that if you are not connected with Sanskrit language, the doors of indigenous knowledge will not open to Indians. And whatever you want to learn, Indian knowledge, that too written in English language, translated by Westerners, Britishers, they have translated, and in the name of Vedas, Puranas, and many things, many discourses, many explanations, even Panini grammar, even Patanjali Yoga Sutras, even Kautilya Arthashastra, even so many other granthas have been explained in not in the right way, but the way they are having, that's a biblical way as such. There is no question answering like that. When you see Padri comes, Father comes, sometimes he lectures, sometimes he reads the Bible, that's a reader. Simple lecturer who lectures on given some dictums of the Bible. A reader, he comes and reads the Bible in the chapel, then he starts professing, then he becomes a professor. So these three layers of systems in academics have got its roots in biblical form. It does not have anything to do with our Indian systems like that. In Indian, we are having only one dhatu, adhyan, adhyapan, adhyapak. They are one parts of one main stream of knowledge. There is no difference as such. Whether Adheta, the student, Adyan, studying, Adhyapan, teaching, and Adhyapak is teacher. So whether he is student or the pedagogy or the methodology or the system or the knowledge component or the person who gives knowledge, they all parts of one particular stream. That's oneness. And there we are having, discreteness. One is something different, teacher is something different, taught is something different, course material is something different, one who lectures is different, one who reads is something different, one who professors is something different. Here we don't have any such system. So whatever I feel that India was under great suppression of our what is it, 800 years, not 1 2 years, 800 years, whether Mughals or the Britishers, they were all against the discovering or the reopening the moral of the Indian scholars. Even then, after obtaining independence, India must have thought in the lines as we are thinking today that we should turn the pages of our own history, the glorious history, and come out with great focus that no, we are superior in knowledge system, we are superior in our language, we are superior in contents, we are superior in methodology, we are superior so far as questions and answers, satisfying the queries, inquisitiveness of the students. So, if that is established, I think one thing we'll accept that these Westerners and are that much good in their content that they accept the reality. If they are convinced that Indian knowledge system is better, Then they'll come out. They won't you see hide this thing. No, you see, Indian system is better, and so many things are coming in a big way. And your Sattology forum has also brought out so many good things which have been accepted by you see Americans, the Britishers, and Europeans. Yes, Aditya.
See, one of the, the I have said it earlier also and today also. See, the when the Western scholars give their version about their misunderstandings about the Indian system, and nowadays one thing is good, and I won't name it. The one of the authors wrote to me, and he was saying that Indians regularly reject us because we don't understand Sanskrit, and that's a good comment. I like that comment. He wrote in an email to me, and my entire team has read it in the US. We want to do that because that means our Sattology forum is actually getting successful in academic circles. So he wrote to me that you don't accept us because, and my point is, why should we accept you? There is no point to accept you because you are creating divisions. You don't understand things as they are. But my question to the Indian academics is, now the Western authors, Western scholars are getting challenged by a people on the street. Like, I'm a person on the street. Like, I'm not in the academic circle officially. I'm not in the scholarly consensus. I'm not in their campus professors or PhDs according to them. And I don't have any such qualification. I'm just an independent. My heart is in Mahabharata Ramayana, and therefore I research on it. And for myself. And then I share with other people. But but they are challenged by just that. I've published 11 books and they are just shaken with that. So why the Indian academics do not challenge them? I have not seen a official, any University of India saying, Harvard University, why a Christian pastor is teaching Hinduism, Hindu Sanatan Dharma to Americans. Why? Because they will never teach honestly. But I have not seen that happening. I have not seen that happening. And I also see the Indian universities, they regularly try to claim accreditation for their work from the West or validation from the West. They will come out and they'll say, oh, they have presented something in Chicago. Why not? It happens that somebody comes from Indian academic side and tells the Western academics, because I cannot do that. I'm not a PhD. I'm not a part of the academic world. Why can't they do it? Tell me.
Aditya, there's so many reasons, not one. One, you see, that there is a deliberate strategy, rather conspiracy, against the studies of our own, you see, literature or traditional knowledge systems. You see, students are seeking admissions in management, in medical, in engineering, in technology, in pharmacy, and so many these subjects which are not deep rooted in Indian traditional knowledge systems. Rather, you will find very few students joining these basic sciences, including your chemistry, physics, mathematics, or for the economics, sociology, and history. Sanskrit is not being offered. The subject of Sanskrit is being depleted at a very fast speed. There very few universities are having Sanskrit as a department. They are not having sufficient teachers also in the Sanskrit department. If they are not having, if government itself is not appointing, say, good scholars, the Sanskrit scholars in this university system, and that too, the scholars who are teaching Sanskrit, they are teaching somewhere Vedas, Kalidas, Puranas, like that. They are not having that much exposure. What is happening in Harvard? What is happening at Trinity? What is happening in the MIT about or in the for that sake the Oxford Center for Hindu Studies at Oxford. They are doing but we are not aware. Indian academics is not aware. That is also weakness, that we are not aware what is happening, what is being taught outside as such. And another thing, that too strategically these Britishers have planned that informal scholars like you, Aditya, like you. are not to see even at par with the selected appointed professors in the university. Rather, the few persons whom they recruit as lecturer, reader, professor are superior. They are the established the person scholars, and they are superior. They are the certified persons to see propound knowledge, to provocate see knowledge in the society. And the person who are real scholars, we are still having some real scholars. Some scholars are also there, but their voices will not be heard, neither by the academics nor by government. No, nobody is going to listen to those voices as such. So, number one, there is lack of exposure. Number two, there is a lack of that stream of knowledge which can counter to the knowledge being you see, imparted at the Western universities. And third, until unless this informally, you see, informal scholars at informal sector are brought in the main stream of knowledge systems, these things cannot be see, get over. I would like to tell in this National Education Policy 2020, which has come up. In this, there is one latitude is given. Suppose if any university wants to appoint the scholars available in the society, they may not have that much professional degree to come and being recruited as a lecturer or professor. If that comes to that is implemented in a full vogue and full spirit, I think things can improve. Okay, Aditya.
The scholarly consensus has become the bane of the society today because the truth never comes out. It's like a manufactured word. Like I was talking about the word professor. The word professor, the origin is one who professes Christian faith is a professor. The Sanskrit word adhyapak is one who focuses adhyatma is adhyapak. And so there is a big difference between the two. Shikshak, the Sanskrit word shikshak means a person who gives shiksha. Shiksha means one which connects you to Paramatma. That is shiksha, technically. So shikshak is a person who again connects you to Paramatma. Beautiful, beautiful Sanskrit words. And opposite of that is a teacher. Teacher means he is going to, English word teacher is actually who is going to teach according to the biblical foundation. Professor who is going to profess the Christian faith. Now, this is the inherent meanings have been made by the church-based authorities now. So how can you expect a level playing field? And since you are a life, your career is in academic. So, and how do you have a level playing field for a person who is coming from a Gurukul or a traditional Indian schools, which are far more advanced? Like I've seen students coming out of Gurukul, they are opening up new companies. They're the biggest entrepreneurs now in India. People coming from Gurukul. I have a couple of examples with my friends I'm going to meet this time in India, and they are like billionaires, and their education is coming from Gita Mahabharata. So how this change can be done? Because the innovation can only come from an original thought.
Yes, yes.
So what do you have?
True, Aditya, it's true. You see, change is coming. Change is coming with this very fast speed. There is no doubt about. We are having some introvert thinking also. Uh, so many good universities, good institutions are coming. In some of the universities, Center for Hindu Studies or MA in Hindu religion or in Hindu systems are also being taught like that. But it will take time. You see, we are having a concept of acharya also. Acharya means who behaves knowledge. Acharanat acharya ityahu. Acharanasi, the person who is actually bringing entire knowledge in its own behavior, his inner behavior and his outer behavior is an acharya. And whatever he says, they are just axioms. They are beyond, well before truth also. That is being respected like that. What is happening is things are getting complicated. India has just got its freedom after having colonial rule of about 300 years and Mughal rule of about 700 years, isn't it? So that hangover is still there. On one hand, we want to, you see, give good education, that too in English. And English means whatever English language, knowledge, research is being, you see, taught there at the Britain and many other countries. There is one section. On the other side, we are having vast population which are studying in this Indian school system, Indian universities, Indian you see, so colleges like that. So there is a gap. There is just a binary in academics we are see feeling, and in between we are developing some gurukuls, some schools in this Saraswati Shishu Mandir, like you see Vidya Bharati system, and these gurukuls are giving good you see, education of yoga, of Sanskrit, of Anushasan, of you see many other you see systems, along with modern you see science and mathematics. So it's a good combination. You appreciated Gurukul. I am also connected with some of the Gurukuls. So Gurukul, what does it Gurukul do? They develop personality in a beautiful manner. They ask the students to get up early morning, go for yoga, go for meditation, keep good health, read only those things which are essential for the personality development. Then in education, whatever is prescription is there, whatever prescribed is there, that must be studied that too with full spirit asset. Along with they are being see, taught on the lines of patriotism, the welfare of the society, connect with the society. They are giving training to to the service of the society also. Groups of students are being sent to villages. Their problems are studied carefully and how solutions can be provided to them. So, education, personality development, connectivity to the society, as well as those things which make the brain analytical. From that only innovation you see comes as a from patriotism. You see, if innovation is there and patriotism is there, they will not search for you see jobs in the government sector. They can go and open their own you see, startups. Government is providing lot of you see funds so far as startup schemes as such. They are taking the help from the government and doing the things better. I think this model, Gurukul model. One minute, I'll just take one more. You see, I would like to quote the academics prevailing in Banaras Hindu University. Long back, about I think about more than 150 years, this Madan Mohan Malviya started this Banaras Hindu University. And the very purpose of opening this Banaras Hindu University, just to get away from the education being imparted at Allahabad University. Madan Mohan Malvi was himself a student of Allahabad University. And Allahabad University was nothing but a replica of any universities of the London, any university of Britain. He was saying, no, it is not good. We are here to connect our education to society with all its innovation and entrepreneurship skill. So he opened almost all subjects. Today, when national education policy is talking about the interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary, holistic education, Madan Mohan Malvi did everything long back. He had, you see, all residential type of system. Students used to live over there. Teachers used to live over there. Vice chancellor admin staff were used to live over there. And you see, in each hostel, there is to be masters to just monitor the behavior of the students. And there was temple also, Kashi Vishwanath temple was established within the vicinities of university, and a very big campus such as, and name the subject is there, whether it's mathematics or engineering or technology or medicines or agriculture, everything is there in Banaras Hindu University. So that model is there. Actually, that model was not replicated by you see the governments in power, which are you see, coming after one or the other, had that model been you see, emulated to create a university system. I think today the question which you are asking today, that question could have been answered much before than we are you see, discussing today. Aditya.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adrian Bajpai, for coming on the show and sharing your views on this important matter. And
Okay, thank
I
you,
hope
Aditya.
that the many elements of the Gurukul based education system be merged into the Indian academic system, because that's how the Gurukul kind of lifestyle and education prevail. Like, instead of having people running Gurukuls independently, and this is my suggestion to you, that the Indian university should start accrediting the Gurukul system, or the Indian university system should seek accreditation from the Indian gurus. That's the reverse way. Because if the Indian university system interferes in the Gurukul system, is going to westernize it. So instead of that, India should seek accreditation from Sri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, a lot of beautiful Sampradaya, Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya Sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Sampradaya. All these different beautiful Sampradayas are there. And Indian universities should affiliate themselves with those and learn from the pedagogy from those people, instead of trying to look for Harvard or other educational systems. People do not know that the American university system, the endowment fund for them is $1 trillion, around $800 billion, but closely reaching $1 trillion. That's the funds they have. And the Indian education system funds of all the universities combined is $20 billion. So there is no comparison, like what they have done and what we are doing. And so somewhere we need to put emphasis on education back, because it's very logical that 1.4 billion people should have more education resources, natural, depending on the population, than 330 million people. But the problem is, the the US economy earns 100 to 200 billion dollars a year, simply every year. It's a new fund. I'm not talking about the last year's fund. The new revenues every year, $100 billion, based on all the students who come from abroad to study in America. And but so this is a and this, so they're selling their version, their thought process to others to further colonize them. So it should be the reverse brain drain. India is the home of education. I mean, India should be attracting $200 billion in education. This can be a good Atmanirbhar Bharat idea also for the people who are
Things
responsible.
are things are changing. See, things are changing. But you know that the legacy of 800 years can't be changed in 80 years. It will take some time, but even slightly, U-turn is taking place. It, the speed is very slow, but thinking is there, self-respect is there, patriotism is there, love for language is also there, love of our own you see, historical persons, our you see, granthas is also there. That's happening. That's happening. And I'm very hopeful.
So
Initially, it will be slow. And afterwards, the speed will take its speed like anything. It will increase exponentially.
you know
Thank you, Aditya.
the one of the things which I'll just say, for 800
Yeah.
years, Islamic invaders attacked India, but India fought. But for the British, the actual British rule started in 1857. Before that was trading. And so it only 90 years of British rule, where the all the British crown policies were applied on India. So, the version that we have to come up with is, and also the British replaced Marathas, not Mughals. British replaced Marathas, not Mughals. So Mughal was already dying entity when the British came. 1857, by 1857, they were already died. So the point is, like, again, we have to look at the history properly and start saying it in the right way. Otherwise, we will keep on repeating the same thing, because the otherwise we'll keep on playing that 900 years of British rule, 900 Mughal rule, 900 years of Mughal attacks. They were lived in a fort. and Marathas had already put them in the fort back. So thank you so much for coming on the show, and thank you
Good.
for
Thank you.
viewers for watching.
Thank you, Aditya. Thank you very much. Bye
Namaste.
bye.
Namaste.
Namaste.